did in this section, we had, or in this chapter, we had those special formulas. So midpoint, remember that was the middle of a line segment, so we found that by really just averaging. It was x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So if I do that, we have negative 6 plus 7 divided by 2, 4 plus negative 3 divided by 2, which gives us 1/2, 1/2 for the midpoint. Distance formula. So distance is the square root of what? Okay, so we have the square root of 7 minus negative 6 squared plus negative 3 minus 4 squared. So this would be 13 squared, which is 169, plus negative 7 squared is 49. Add those together and we get 218. All right, you remember I did not want decimals on these, but I do want you to break them down if you can. So are there any perfect squares that divide 218? Maybe, let's see, it breaks into 2 and 109. Neither of those is a perfect square, so it doesn't reduce. But it very well could, so you always have to check to see if it's divisible by any perfect squares for your final answer. All right, equation of the line. This is more like yesterday. What do we have to do to find the equation of a line? Find the slopes. So y2 minus y1 for x2 minus x1. So we get negative 7 over 13. Then we take one of the points and plug into the equation. So y minus 4 equals negative 7 over 13 times x minus negative, so x plus 6. So I get y minus 4 equals negative 7 over 13x minus 42 over 13. Then we add over the 4. So plus 10 over 13. Is that right? You guys are checking my math, right? You don't just believe me. That's risky. Okay. D. I want the equation of the line perpendicular. If it's perpendicular, what do we know?
Opposite reciprocal slope.
Okay, so the opposite reciprocal of this would be a positive 13 over 7. And this one goes through the point negative 1, negative 2. So it'd be y minus negative 2, so y plus 2, equals m x minus negative 1, so x plus 1. Subtract the 2 over we get our equation. Are we okay with the stuff on this page? So let's look at some more examples. Any questions at all on this? If they are parallel, what's true about their slopes? Same. Just kind of a side note. What kind of line would be, okay, what's the equation of a horizontal line? Well, the slope is 0. The equation is y equals a number. What about a vertical line? X equals a number. The slope of that would be undefined. What kind of line is going to be perpendicular to a horizontal line? Yeah, horizontal and vertical are perpendicular. We can't really do the opposite reciprocal necessarily on those, but we should know that those are perpendicular. Alright. Find the remaining leg of a right triangle with a hypotenuse of 15 and one leg measuring 5 centimeters. So I have a right triangle. Hypotenuse is 15. One of these is 5. We need the other one. What do we do in a right triangle? Huh?
What specifically are you asking?
What formula are we going to use?
Oh, a squared plus b squared equals c
Mhm.
squared.
Pythagorean theorem. Remember, A and B, it doesn't matter which is which, but C is the hypotenuse. So we have 5 squared plus b squared equals 15 squared. So 25 plus b squared equals 225. Subtract the 25 over, so b squared equals 200. Then what do we do?
Take the square root on both sides.
So b equals, all right, we could break this down into 102. So it's 10 square root of 2 centimeters. Right. Next one, I want you to graph 3x minus 12 equals 0. Careful though. So this is a line, but what do you notice about it?
It's equal to something.
Yeah, what does it equal? Okay, is there a y in this? Let's solve for x, because normally our lines are y equals mx plus b, right? There's no y at all here. If I solve for my x, I could add over my 12, divide by 3, so x is 4. So what kind of line is this?
It's a horizontal vertical.
Vertical line, x equals 4. What is the domain of that line?
4.
Yep, we only hit one x value, we hit 4. What's the range?
Infinity, positive infinity.
And what is the slope? Okay, so graphing lines, we always try to put them in y equals mx plus b form to graph them. If there is no y, then we're looking at a vertical line. If there's no x, we're looking at a horizontal line. All right, number 4, function notation. F of x equals 2x minus 6. Find f of 3 minus b. What do I have to do?
What can 3 minus b for x?
So if we distribute, we get 6 minus 2b minus 6. The 6's cancel, so our answer is negative 2b. Okay, so function notation, if I ask for f of something, you're just replacing that with your x. Any questions on this slide? All those examples. Just a couple more to wrap up. Here's a graph. If I ask for f of 1, the 1 is the x value. So that means if x equals 1, you're telling me what y equals. So if I look at my graph, when my x is 1, what does my y equal?
Looks like
1/2 or 0.5. If I ask for f of negative 2, so that means when x is negative 2, what's the y value?
Negative 2.
Alright, so we can read it from a graph as well. Okay. Final one. Can you look at this graph and tell me what is the domain? Right, we hit the 0, so it gets a bracket. Stops at positive infinity. What is the range of this one? Right, remember domain is left to right because you're talking about the x's, range is bottom to top. You're talking about the y's. Is this a function? How do you tell from the graph? All right. we ready? So, I want you guys to, we'll break apart one person per table. I am going to give you just a couple formulas. Probably don't need them, but just in case.
You are a savior.
Some days I'm nicer than others.